Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. I put up close to, I think, 30 videos so far over the last month and a half. And the first video I put up, I entitled, I Met Maitreya. Looking back on it, I don't really watch that video that much. It's not my favorite video. I didn't really know what I was doing. I still don't think I know what I'm doing very much in terms of putting up videos on YouTube. But it was my first chance to kind of do a video and put it up and see how to upload it into YouTube. So I've kind of kept it up there just for sentimental sake, I guess. But I didn't really go into a lot of depth about the times that I'd met Maitreya. And it would take me in an hour probably to talk about all my experiences. So I'm going to break a lot of them up as I go and talk about a little bit here. Maybe this week, next week, I'll talk about a different one or so forth. And some of them might mean something to you. Some of them might not, I guess. I don't know. But they've all had a special kind of memory in my life where I learned from it, or I might go back and look at it from a different angle and learn something again about it or something. But the thing that I noticed about not only my experiences with Maitreya, but other people's is a few things. He can look however he wants to look. He doesn't look the same. He can appear as a man or a woman, young or old, any race there is. He will appear as a wealthy person or a poor person. Most of the time he appears as a street person, kind of. The times that I saw him, he can get up right in my space and I never felt intruded upon or something like that. He might say something to me that I've been thinking about just a couple days prior to meeting him again or seeing him, again. So I kind of put two and two together and go, I wonder what that was. And, I was lucky enough because I knew Benjamin Creme for years, the times that I was able to see him or the times that I actually wrote it into Share International magazine, the experience. Most of the time he would say, yes, that was Maitreya. Not all the time, but most of the time. Sometimes he would write back and say, no, that wasn't anybody. Or he would tell me to my face, that's not anybody. And which kind of leads me to another point, because I actually did a video about the Benjamin Creme that I knew. And one of the things that I said I was really struck about Benjamin Creme was he always took the time to put down what he was doing and kind of be there for you, right? Which is true. He would do that. Now the flip side of that coin is you might not like what he said because he was extremely honest. Now he never told me I smelled or anything like that, but you could, he definitely had no problem saying how it was. And a lot of times, he would offend the person or me or whoever. But like I said, I would go back and think about it a lot of the times. I'm like, yeah, he's actually right. Or, yeah, I can kind of see where he's coming from or whatever like that, right? But sometimes he would smack me over the head, But like I said, I consider it a blessing, and I was very, very lucky to be able to talk to Benjamin Creme when he was alive. And, as much as he gets bashed in videos and on the internet and stuff like this, those people have no idea who they're talking about because he is not what they think he is, Benjamin Creme is just one of the most amazing people to ever walk the planet. That's all I can say. And hopefully more and more people will realize that when they start to see that what he was saying all along was true. But getting back to some of these experiences that I had. Yes, I've met Maitreya many times. I would say if I had to count it up, it was over 10, the times that I've seen him over the years. He always, when the times that I saw him, like I said, he looked different every time, but he would always say something that would kind of stick with me, or he would always say something that would really help me out at that time, or he would say something in direct result to a prayer that I would say to the Lord or something like this. He would come back and say, he would kind of quote what I was just praying about. But he also came a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times at a very low point in my life when I was struggling with something or thinking about something. I remember one time I had prayed and said, I'm not worthy to call myself a disciple. And a disciple is just somebody who's, you know, doing the work and the discipline out there, but also serving humanity. Because I'm pretty lazy, and I procrastinate a lot. And at this one point, I was really frustrated with myself. And I remember praying about that. And I saw him not too long after that on the street. He was actually at a peace rally. And he looked at me and he said, he said a lot of things to me, but the few things that stuck with me was, one thing he said, I never judge anyone on whether they're good or bad. I only notice the good things that they do. And that was a direct message to what I had been praying about. Because, the way he kind of directed it to me and the way he kind of looked at me, it made me believe that was the case. And then the other thing he said at that same meeting, and I'll talk more about this experience later in greater detail, but this was right before he went on TV. Excuse me. And he said, and you're going to see me on TV real soon, and we're going to change the world together. And that's his stick. It's not him changing the world. We're going to have to do it together. He's just kind of, like he says, just pointing the way. We have to put the new world together brick by brick. By human hand and human foot, I think is what he said, right? And then there was a time when I was at another low point, just a lot of stress in my job and stress in my personal life and finances and all sorts of stuff. And, you always, when you're in those situations, you always look for that life boat on the way out, whether it's playing the lottery or whatever like that, right? And I'm not a big lottery player, but I'm sure at the time I was like, if I could just win, X amount of dollars, that'd be great, right? And I saw him at my job, and where I work is usually pretty busy. And this elderly gentleman came in. He was an African-American guy, not too tall, wearing a hat. And he bought a small cup of coffee, which at the time was like $1.26, I think was how much it was. And he takes his hand and he lifts it up above his head and slams it on the counter. And it really startled me. I jumped back like, whoa. But I also looked around for just a second, and I took my eyes off this guy for just a second. I looked around and nobody saw him. Nobody turned around and wondered who just slapped their hand on the counter, because it almost sounded like a gunshot. Like, whack, right? And then he looks me right in the eye when I kind of go back to looking at him, and he looks at me and he goes, peace always starts from within. I'll see you tomorrow, and walks out. And I remember I was taken back by that statement, and it might not mean much to you to hear it, but it really resonated with me. And I've meditated on that statement time and time again when I've been stressed or whatever. And I can actually, at times, from just thinking about that interchange with that guy who I believe was Maitreya, to calm myself down and almost be the eye of the storm, kind of thing. And so there was another time when I saw Maitreya, and he appeared as an elderly African-American woman. And she was walking up this very, very slight hill with a walker. And it was like every step was just this painful step forward. It just looked like every step just hurt. And I don't know what made me think that it might have been a master, other than I just saw myself in this woman. And I saw how there's certain aspects of my life that over the years I've just struggled and struggled and struggled with no success, and a lot of failure and things like this, and how, I just keep coming back and coming back and coming back, and every little step that I make just takes a lot of energy to get that one step going, right? And I'm sure you can see yourself in something. Nobody's perfect, right? But then, in the same scenario, there was a very good-looking couple with athletic gear on that ran right past the lady, didn't even pay attention to it, right up the hill. It was a nothing hill, so it wasn't easy for anybody to run it. But it was how easy it was for them to run it up the hill. And Benjamin Creme's master said the woman was Maitreya, and the couple were the Master Jesus and one of the Master Jesus' associates. And we'll talk more about, some of these encounters later, but I saw that in certain aspects of my life, I'm that woman. In other aspects, I'm the couple. So I kind of got my life out of that whole experience, right? But again, I'm sharing these stories not to convince you of anything or to sell you on anything, definitely, but to help you understand that Maitreya, when you see him on TV or you see him in your own life or whatever, he's not claiming to be the Christ or Maitreya or anything. Why? Because he wants you to have a heartfelt response to his message. He wants you to recognize the love flowing from him, but it's flowing from him because it's in your own heart too. But he also wants you to want for the world what he wants for the world. Again, it's sharing, justice, peace, a future for humanity. Not everybody really wants that. Not everybody thinks about that, right? But when you hear him on TV, the reason why he's not claiming to be anything, he's just claiming to be one of us. He's not one of us, but he's claiming to be one of us, so that you will have the opportunity to have a heartfelt response to it. That's the gift. You might not think it's a gift, and that's why when you watch these videos of people talking about Maitreya's first interview and where is it and why haven't you seen it, and Benjamin Creme must be full of garbage because nobody's seen this interview and you've tried to find it and all that kind of stuff. It's because Maitreya is not talking like this. I mean, I don't know what he's saying, but I know of one person, I don't know one person, but I know of one person who's said that she saw him on TV and had a heartfelt response to his message and knew for sure that that was him. But that's the only person that I've even heard of or claiming to have seen him. Whether she's right or wrong, I don't know. But, I believe without a doubt, because based on my experiences, and I've just talked about, 3 of them, that he, and I've talked some more in some other videos and stuff, but I believe that he is on TV. And I believe that when you see him, you'll have an opportunity for that heartfelt response to his message. It's very important that we all have that. And as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.